Hello everyone, this is Denise Saladay. Welcome to Clarity 16.2.3 Feature Supportability Training. The topic I'll be covering is administrative improvements. This release, we made the help text attribute available for subobjects for both properties and in the create modal. And in business roles for subobjects, we now have the capability to hide sections, modules, and attributes. And last, we enabled the hierarchy object for process. In my demonstration today, we'll take a look at how to create help text for subobjects in both properties and the create modal. We will look at how to configure business roles for subobjects to hide sections, modules, and attributes. And last, we'll see how to build a process against the hierarchy object. First, we'll navigate into administration and see how to add help text in blueprint configuration. We'll look at a project example here. Put our blueprint in edit mode. Next, we'll navigate to one of the subobjects. And we notice that we have the properties enabled for the task subobject. And you'll now have the help text attribute that's available. And you would just drag and drop it into your layout, and you can add as many of these as you want in whatever sections you want. As you can see, I already have 2 here. And this capability is supported for all stock and custom level 2 subobjects except for timesheets. Similar to master objects, this attribute's a large, rich text attribute. And you can see how to make changes to it. If you hover over it, you'll see a little pencil here, and we'll just click on that. You can just type data. And you have some basic controls here. You can change the font, size, the family, bold, italics, underline, strike through. You can change the font color and the background color. And you can add a numbered list or a bullet list. You can indent. And you have some alignment controls here. Additionally, you can add some paragraphs, links. Now, whenever you're building links, note that we do not support variables in your links. You can add tables, images, and you can also remove any formats that you have here. Now I'm going to just cancel this because I already have 2 that I created, and if I want to remove any of the rich text control attributes, I can just click on the X there that's available on hover. As you can see, I already have 2 notes here with different formatting options. Next, we'll take a look at this attribute in the create modal. Notice that I have the help text here, and you could just drag and drop it like you could in the properties page. And I already have one configured here. And similar to the properties page, you'll have the pencil icon for any edits that you want to make, and the X that's available if you want to delete this attribute from the create modal. The Create modal is not available in Resources, Hierarchy, Pages, and Plans, so that capability will not exist for the Create modal for those objects. Once you're finished making changes to your blueprint, you can publish it. So now we'll go into a project that's configured to use this blueprint, and we'll first look at the Properties page. And we'll look at this task here. And you can see on the Properties page that we have both of these help text controls are configured. And for the users, they are not able to make any edits to these controls. They're view only. And now we'll navigate to the task Create modal and take a look at the other help text attribute that I've configured. You can see that it's appearing now anytime that you create a new task using that modal. Next, we'll take a look at how you can now create business roles for sub-objects, where you can hide sections, modules, and attributes for those sub-objects. This capability is supported for Level 2 stock and custom sub-objects. And we'll look at an example on the task sub-object under Projects. Under Administration Blueprints, we'll navigate to a project blueprint, put it in Edit mode, and we'll take a look at business roles. I already have a role created for tasks where you'll hide attributes, modules, and sections based on certain criteria. And notice the role type that I have here defined is view type. So if my task is not a key task, I want to hide the details section, the dependencies module, and I also want to hide the critical attribute. Last release, these actions did not exist for these Level 2 sub-objects. The hide section action will only apply to properties. The hide modules action applies in both properties and in the details flyout. And for the hide attributes action, consistent with master objects today, this applies only in sub-object properties. It's important to note that even if I don't have my task properties configured to display in my blueprint, I can still create these business roles even though the module's not displayed in the blueprint. So if we look at an example now of a task where this business role is not triggered, we'll look at the closing phase. And because it's a key task, note that the dependencies module as well as the details section and the attribute critical are not hidden. So now we'll look at a different task where this business role is triggered. And this task here is not a key task. So the dependencies module is hidden, the details section is hidden, and so was the is critical attribute is hidden as well. So now let's take a look at the same actions for a different kind of business role. Instead of using the view page business role type that we used in our first example, we're going to look at an attribute update business role example. So we'll navigate back to our project blueprint in edit mode. And I have a business role here created that we'll take a look at. This business role is triggered when the charge code attribute is updated to documentation. And the new actions that are now available this release are the same as we were looking at before, to hide attributes, hide modules, and hide sections. In this example, I'm hiding the attribute priority, hiding the to-do module, and hiding the details section. And similar to view page business roles, these attribute update business roles will work the same way. So the hide attributes is only applicable to properties. The hide modules will be applicable to both properties and the details flyout. And hide attributes will only apply to properties. And you can configure these business rules too, even if the module is not displayed in your blueprint. So let's take a look at that business role in action. I'm currently in a project and I'm looking at a task here where the charge code equals develop. So the business role will not be triggered to hide anything. So if we look at that one, note that the to-dos module is still appearing, as well as the details section, and the priority attribute is still appearing here. And if we look at a different task where that business role is triggered, the deployment and quality phase, you can see that the charge code is documentation. And note that as soon as I updated that to documentation, that the to-dos module is hidden, as well as the details section, and the priority attribute is no longer displaying. The last thing that we will look at is how you can now use hierarchy in process. So I'm in classic process, and note that I already have an existing process where I'm blocking the hierarchy blueprint attribute, and note that it applies to the hierarchy object. So whenever you're creating a new process, and you want to add the primary object, under the object type, you now have the hierarchy object. And you would just create your process as you normally would. And if you go into Modern, under Hierarchies, we'll look at Bank Consolidation. Under the Properties tab, I have this process that I enabled and is currently active to lock the hierarchy blueprint attribute. I can just start it. I got a message here that's saying it started successfully. And you can see that the blueprint attribute here is now locked and has the locked icon, which is what the process did. And this concludes the Administrative Improvements topic for supportability training. Thank you.